Morning all. Alright, I'm wearing Chicago Wolves gear for this video because yesterday I had it on the board that the Hurricanes and the Wolves have reunited. And I don't think I mentioned it in the news video. I don't think I actually talked about it. So I want to talk about it at the start of this one. So last year, the Wolves wanted more control over the roster. And the Carolina Hurricanes weren't going to do that with their prospects, right? One argument that's been made with the Wolves is that their focus on winning in the AHL has sometimes come at the expense of prospects loaned to them by NHL teams. And they've gone through a number of affiliations over the years. Vegas, St. Louis, and Carolina all come to mind as recent examples. And so what's happened is the Carolina Hurricanes have now come back into agreement with the Chicago Wolves. But what happened, it sounds like, is after a year that the Wolves struggled because they were an independent team, so they were kind of trying to hire their own players, and they had some prospects there, but not a lot. And just the second worst points percentage in the American Hockey League, they realized it wasn't working. So in this new agreement that's for 3 years, basically the Carolina Hurricanes will have the say over the roster that they wanted the whole way through that Chicago didn't want to give them. So in that essence, the Carolina Hurricanes, they won that battle. And so that is back together between the Wolves and the Hurricanes. And we won't hear about it for at least the next 3 years. But like I said, I don't think I actually talked about it in yesterday's video. And if I did, now I've added the bit about why they've come back together. Basically, the Wolves and the Hurricanes apparently too were talking all season. I think the Wolves probably realized pretty early this wasn't going to work, being an independent team when everybody else has NHL affiliations. But yeah, so we'll see how well the Wolves do next year now that they're back into an affiliation agreement with a National Hockey League franchise. Now, the reason a lot of you are going to be here is to talk about Game 7 tonight. The Boston Bruins hosting the Toronto Maple Leafs beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Of course, this series is tied at 3. It's the big old Game 7. Can Toronto finally win a Game 7? Can Boston finally win a Game 7? Because it's been a problem for both teams recently. And for Boston, they're trying to avoid blowing a 3-1 series lead for the second straight year. For Toronto, 3-1 comeback would be huge. So we'll see if they can do it tonight. Mitch Marner, a goal and 2 assists in this series thus far. He's due for a big game. Matthews might play. I don't think he's going to. I think there's a lot of mind games going on. McMahon was on the ice for the skate this morning too. I don't think McMahon's going to play, but if they do, great. 4 games, 1 goal, 2 assists for Matthews, 3 points. Bertuzzi also has a goal and 2 assists, and I feel like one of those 3 guys could have a big goal tonight. Woll needs to continue to play as well as he's been playing, 964 save percentage. Boston needs to play a lot better. They can start by getting more than 2 shots in the first period. They haven't had more than 2 shots in the first period over the last 2 games. So if you're wondering why that 3-1 series lead fell away, slow starts are dooming the Boston Bruins. So watch for a better start tonight. Marchand, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. I think he's trying so hard now to get in the heads of the Toronto Maple Leafs that he's kind of knocked himself off his own game. Pastrnak, 2 goals, 2 assists for him, 4 points. Toronto's contained him well. McAvoy, 4 assists for McAvoy so far in the series. Feels like he might be due for a goal. Swayman, a 947 save percentage. Still very much a goaltender who knows how to play against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And again, the winner of this game gets tomorrow off and then probably plays Monday in Sunrise. I believe that's the plan, Monday and Sunrise. So you get 1 day off after this 7-game war, and then you get to go play a nice, well-rested, happy, and confident Florida Panthers team. Doesn't sound optimal for either team, does it? Anyways, your Lady Byng finalists have been revealed. Austin Matthews, who had 20 penalty minutes this year because Lady Byng is about gentlemanly play. Elias Pettersson, 12 penalty minutes. I mixed up him and Lindholm. But anyways, that's all fine. But Pettersson, 12 penalty minutes. He gets a lot of criticism. I don't share that criticism personally. Slavin, 8 penalty minutes. Should absolutely win this. Jacob Slavin, the fact that he's as good defensively as he is, and he doesn't take penalties is remarkable. 8 penalty minutes is just absolutely insane because it's not like he doesn't go out there and play a physical game. It's not like he's not a good defenseman. He's one of the better defensemen in the NHL. and he just doesn't take penalties. And I'm guaranteeing that of the 8 penalty minutes, I want to guess that probably 4 of them are delay a game. Because he doesn't take penalties. That's why in the first round when he got a penalty, I made note of it. Like Slavin's going to the box because it just doesn't happen very often, and that was a delay game call in that game as well. So I believe it was, anyways. But yeah, Slavin should win this absolutely. I don't think it should necessarily be close in the voting. Ryan O'Reilly, I kind of feel bad for the guy. I thought O'Reilly had a good series against Vancouver. The finish wasn't there, but the finish wasn't there for a lot of Nashville players. And he's calling himself out after the loss last night against the Canucks and saying he didn't play well in the series at all. I disagree. I kept waiting for O'Reilly to break through. I thought he had opportunities. He's not the only Nashville player that I felt that way about. I thought Forsberg could have a big night last night. Didn't happen. In the end, Vancouver and Nashville both played that suffocating defensive style of hockey, and Vancouver ended up winning 4 out of 6 playing that way. Nashville, I think the real frustration for Nashville has to be they've lost 6 in a row at home in the playoffs. So that has to be a point of frustration. But either way, I wouldn't put the blame on Ryan O'Reilly. I think it's fine that he's blaming himself. I think it's fine that he's kind of kicking himself for how it turned out. But in the end, I do think that Vancouver just, they wanted it and they got it. And I don't necessarily feel like O'Reilly was a difference maker in the negative for Nashville. I thought he had a good series. There weren't very many players that did score in that first round series. So we'll see what happens in round 2 for the Canucks. But for Nashville, of course, the dream is done for another year. But they weren't even supposed to be a playoff team this year. So hopefully when he's had a little bit of time to reflect, O'Reilly can, just see that that's how things were in this, that Nashville kind of overachieved by becoming a playoff team this year and take some pride in the season they had. So at any rate, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.